Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to IIHM Live TV. This is the world's largest culinary competition, the 8th International Young Chef Olympiad 2022 virtual, with 176 cameras placed in 40 countries across 24 time zones, connecting 143 chef judges from all across the globe. Today we have with us eminent mixologist, Mr. Yangdhup Lama, who is going to tell us how the bartending profession has evolved over the decades into the millennium. He's going to tell us what it takes to become a successful bartender. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Mr. Yangdhup Lama for you.
The cocktails, trend or especially from a consumer space came into being because until then, people were drinking whatever the bartenders gave. Until then, people were drinking or enjoying a bar in whichever way. If I was a promoter of a bar, if I was creating a bar, I would rather create a bar that I wanted to create, and I would lend that experience, and people would just buy into it. I think it was also the same even for hotels and bars and restaurants, right? So that was where it all started. But there was more acceptance that took place in the 90s. I think people were more open to enjoying or going out and eating or drinking, but there weren't too many interesting or innovative bars or restaurants. But starting of the new millennium is when things started to change at a fast pace. So first and the foremost, it was connectivity. Because of connectivity, because of globalization, people were traveling extensively, a lot because of work. So a lot of young professionals, especially the middle class, professional, working class, were traveling a lot purely because the job required them to travel. Then over a period of time, the consumers got smarter than the promoters of the business. And I still remember a time when people would come to my bar and ask for drinks that I had never heard of myself. So I would read a lot. I would, refer to a lot of other senior bartenders, but sometimes they were names of drinks, or they were drinks that people would ask, which I had never heard of. And whenever I asked my customer, where did they experience it, they would take names of bars, either in London, in New York, in San Francisco, and then tell me that I've had this drink over there. And that is when you realize that with extensive travel, with a lot of interactions and travel, people were getting more aware and learning a lot about food and beverage.
Keeping in mind the new age style of cocktails, so what are the attributes the students, because our audience is students, so they need to keep in mind to become the successful in bartending, like keeping in mind the new age style of the cocktails and bar trends? So what are the points they have to keep in mind?
One of the most important thing is, bartenders are human beings. So whether you're a chef or a bartender, you have to make sure, especially with bartending, I always lay a lot of emphasis on the fact that you've got to be a good human being. You have to have all qualities of a great human being, because you're always in the front. Let me tell you very honestly, people do not come to a bar and drink cocktails because it's a fancy bar or you marketed the bar really well. I think people only drink cocktails when they see that the bartender inside the bar is a very convincing gentleman. And for that, the first and the most essential thing is to have the right human qualities. I can teach a person how to hold a glass. I can teach a person how to shake a drink, how to stir a drink, what goes well with which flavor. I can teach all of that. I cannot teach a person how to smile. I cannot teach a person how to be, positive. That has to come from within. So this is one of the practices that we all have to have. Very important. Number one. Everything else, knowledge you can get from so many sources, but the basic human qualities is something that you'll have to practice it yourself and develop it yourself. Okay, and that is, I think, one of the most key attribute of becoming a good bartender.
Thank you very much.
So that was Mr. Yangdhup Lama, who is a member of the IIHM International College of Distinguished Fellows. So well put. When you smile, it doesn't cost a penny, but it can win you the whole world. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned with us for more such valuable snippets from distinguished personalities from the hospitality industry. Thank you very much.